first INT of Cam Daniels was targeting Zach Ertz on the play. Quan Martin tipped the pass, and Mike Sainristil finished the play by running to it in the end zone. Sainristil, again, Mikey, frozen all over the field. He just blew up a pass behind the line of scrimmage to KJ Osborne. And if you thought we were done there, you're sadly mistaken. As yet again, the defense gets another turnover as Bobby Wagner this time steps in front of a pass and intercepts Jaden Daniels. Hey, look, when they say iron sharpens iron, this is exactly what I envision. Today, the defense dominated, man. Mikey Sainristil picking up where he left off as he kicked off today's practice with an interception, followed by Tyler Owens with another one. Let's recap all things Washington Commanders Day 3 of training camp. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries, like...
Stop saying my name, you dick rhyme bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, the shawty is the winner. You can tell that shawty's no beginner, she's confident.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, coming on with Day 3 of Washington Commanders training camp recap. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 11,000 subscribers, so we really appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. And if you're in a position to help donate to the GoFundMe for a new computer, feel free if you are able to. Also, subscribe to 4th and 1 and Birdie. Break down those links are down below in the description. Let's get to it. So today, ladies and gentlemen, first day of shells. Dan Quinn stepped to the podium today and he talked about how it was going to be a lot of red zone work and a lot of competition is going to be saved for the 11-on-11 deals and drills and stuff like that. He also talked about Terry McLaurin once again, and as we know, this will be a hot commodity until the day Terry McLaurin signs that contract extension. They're going to always ask Dan Quinn about Terry McLaurin, and DQ simply said there's no update right now, but trust and believe, when there is an update, you won't even have to ask me to update you. I'm going to be pumped to talk about it.
When there's an update to tell you, you won't have to ask. I'll tell you, and I'll be pumped about it. So there's nothing for me to add to it, but I don't have anything to add, from when Adam was the other day. But you won't have to ask if there's an update. I'll definitely be the one to give it to you.
And I think Dan Quinn is kind of to the point of talking about it or being asked about it, where he's kind of a little pissed off about it. Why do you keep asking about it? I'm not Adam Peters. I genuinely don't know what's going on in terms of what's the holdup. My job is to be the head coach of this team and get the players that are here prepared to compete this season. Terry McLaurin, as expected, will join us at some point as they are working through the contract back and forth. So unfortunately, it didn't get done during training camp, but at some point it will get done. We could be like Trey Hendrickson, who's not even in Cincinnati at the time. At least he's in Ashburn, or at least in the VA area. So he's expecting something to be done, hopefully soon. And I can kind of understand Dan Quinn from that point of man, just let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the first 2 days of practice. Let's talk about players that are actually here. So speaking of that, he actually talked about Ja'Cory Krosky-Murray, and that brought a big smile to my face because Bill's a guy that I think myself and a lot of other fans are super excited about. But given the fact that he is a 7th-round pick, this is the type of things you're going to need and want to hear from you or your coaches when they're talking about a guy that was drafted so late in the draft and he has a huge chance to make this roster. You want to make this roster, the first things you can do is put out there good first impressions and get on your coach's good side. So Quinn said this about Ja'Cory Krosky-Murray. He says Quinn and any coaches will say it's hard to tell about running backs until they get the pads on, but this is what he said on what jumps out early about Ja'Cory Krosky-Murray. It's the balance of the cuts that he can go get his shoulders square and get downhill very, very fast. And speaking of that, I know that's just a small little excerpt of what he said, but that's exactly what we've been missing, right? We've been wanting to have a running back that is just one cut and go. We don't want to have a running back that stutters, that, I don't know if I should go that way. I don't know if I can go that way. That lacks the vision of being able to see the cutback lane. Just make a decision, run fast, and then go downhill, right? We're so tired of not having that kind of running back in the backfield. And although his 40 time wasn't like super blazing fast, his game speed clearly is at a different level. As in practice, he's been dominating the first 2 days and shown the true speed of a legit running back in terms of giving it a breath of fresh air in our specific backfield, because all the past few years it's been Brian Robinson, it's Austin Eckler, it's Antonio Gibson, it's Chris Rodriguez. Nobody that has a really sense of speed burst and something that's going to be able to go 0 to 60 real quick, and that seems to be Ja'Cory Krosky-Murray. And I can strongly believe and have faith that he can be the starting running back of this team at some point. Of course, we'll wait and see how he looks in preseason, because although he does have this fan base inside the fan base that are voting for him, he's going to get a lot of opportunities with the second and third teams, because he is a 7th round pick. So he's going to get a lot of opportunities this preseason, third quarter, fourth quarter, maybe even second quarter, depending on how good he really is shown. He's going to get a lot of opportunity to show what he is capable of doing. So I'm excited for Bill, and I'm excited to see what he continues to do throughout this training camp and, preseason window. And hopefully we finally got our answer to the running back position, because that would be absolute huge if that's the case. Dan Quinn also spoke on wide receiver Michael Gallup, as it seemed like he's been flying under the radar, quite a bit to start the camp. No one's really talking about Michael Gallup, and I didn't really know if that was a good thing or a bad thing. Kind of like Luke McCaffrey, right? Like, no one's asking or really talking about those two guys specifically, but Dan Quinn went out his way to talk about Michael Gallup and said the length and ability to extend is what he's known for. It was good to see him make some plays yesterday, so I'm really pulling for Michael Gallup to make this roster. Ja'Cory Brooks is definitely making it tough, as I think it's like 3 players, you can even say Chris Moore, 4 players fighting for that final 6th spot. And I like Michael Gallup, but if this Ja'Cory Brooks thing is legit, and he's a guy that can come in and truly turn into something special, I would hands down rather have him over Michael Gallup. But that being said, we'll see. All right, Michael Gallup is a savvy vet, and he has been making some good plays in training camp, but I don't see them keeping 7 receivers, but we'll see. Now getting into the on-field of today's practice, you got some of the guys going through individual drills, Deebo Samuel and a slew of other guys just getting prepared for the day. Finally, we got an update on 2 receivers that you guys know I am pulling for mightily. Noah Brown looks to be working his way back from the injury, as this is the first time that I truly seen him on field. After hearing that he started on the physically unable to perform, this kind of got me a little bit scared. But as they often mention, that they're just taking it slow with him, and they're not really like pushing him just quite yet. They want to hit all the markers, and in words of DQ, we're not going to miss a step. So that's where they're at with Noah Brown. But to see him out there in action looks really good. And then obviously, let me put the glasses on for this one, Luke McCaffrey has made a play, ladies and gentlemen, and quietly he has been making plays all training camp long thus far, because according to Washington Commanders reporter Skylar Nelson, she says that him and Jaden Daniels have had a nice rapport and connection all training camp long. And I know it's only been 3 days, so it sounds like I'm saying all training camp long, like it's been 2 weeks and whatnot, but it's just cool to finally see Luke McCaffrey getting some action, and maybe he's purposely flying under the radar. I'm not too sure about that, but it's great to hear a little update on those 2 guys as well. Ben Sinnott had a nice catch with Marcus Mariota during 11-on-11 periods as well. So some of these 2 second-year guys in Washington's system is seeming to make some noise. But the star of the show is the defense, man, as it seems like they had themselves a day, starting with Mikey Sainristil. So we got the first INT of camp. Daniels was targeting Zach Ertz on the play. Quan Martin tipped the pass, and Mike Sainristil finished the play by running to it in the end zone. And Frozone is one of my favorite players. Y'all know how I love Mikey. Y'all know I was a guy that felt like we didn't even need to upgrade the cornerback room, right? We were fine with running back with the healthy Marshawn, keeping Frozone on the outside and no Igbenogany in the slot. Not saying that I'm not happy with Trey Amos as an upgrade, but that's just speaking how highly I think of Mikey Sainristil. And, you know, Dan Quinn, he spoke to the type of player that him and Jaden were last year. Like most second-year players this year that were rookies last year are taking their lumps and learning and trying to get better in the offseason so they can come into year 2 training camp better. He said, no, man, Mikey and Jaden are different. They found their problems that they were having last year and fixed it on the spot in season. Their issues that they weren't able to, you know, complete, they were able to get it done in season. And you see it translating on the field already. As I think Mikey Sainristil has the potential to be an all-pro slot corner. Of course, going back to what he's more comfortable with. And you give him a couple years from now, it wouldn't surprise me one bit if he's one of the, if not the best inside corners in this game. And that's where I say we have DBs for every level, whether it's outside with Trey and it's outside with Marshawn, or it's inside with Noah and Mikey. And, you know, the depth as well with Jonathan Jones. Like, this cornerback room had a complete makeover, and I'm super stoked and excited to hear that. We got another interception. This time it is by Tyler Owens as he jumped the pass near the middle of the field. Mariota was in at quarterback, and Tyler Owens is a guy that we know made his name on this mark as an undrafted free agent last year. And he came in and was a special teams demon. Joe Witt Jr. came to the podium back in the spring and said he has to find ways to get these guys more opportunities on the field. What can they truly do as an asset to this defense? Speaking of a Tyler Owens, speaking of a Jeremy Reeves, and all these other guys that play in the safety position, Percy Butler, who got an extension yesterday, right? So seeing Tyler Owens come out there and make a play like that gives me the confidence that maybe second year Tyler Owens could be something special, something more involved into this defense. And of course, we're not expecting him to come out here and be a starter over Quan Martin or Will Hurst, but maybe he can be a much better Derek Forrest, right? Remember, Derek Forrest had that really great start to the 2022 season, and after that he really kind of just, you know, fell off the face of the earth, whether it was injuries and just lack of opportunities. Maybe Tyler Owens can be our new and much more improved default for depth of the safety position. If he's able to figure something out, man, it could be very scary because we know how physical he is, especially he was in college. I believe it's at Texas Tech, could be wrong on that, but he was very physical in college, and he had the athleticism and the size that you want from any kind of rangy safety. So seeing him make plays in training camp is going to be special and very fun. I'm glad he got his hands on an interception as well. Defense, like I said today, dominated in every which way. Zach Shelby, he says the defense came to play today. They have a bunch of energy and are hyping each other up after every play. Then moving on to the offensive side of the ball for a second here. It says really nice pass block rep by Laramie Tunsil against Dorrance Armstrong. Armstrong tried to spin out of the block, but Tunsil mirroring every move to perfection. So knocking those 2 points down. Again, like I said, this is the star of the show. Defense today. Iron sharpening iron. As we know, offense typically gets the best of the defense when training camp first starts. But as it goes along, defense eventually catch up. It didn't take long for this defensive unit to really catch up and dominate the offensive side of the ball. But going back to Laramie Tunsil now, he's a guy that we shouldn't be surprised at, right? He's one of the best in the game. So to see him being able to, you know, block Dorrance Armstrong and kind of mirror exactly every move that Dorrance wanted to do and countering everything, that's not a surprise. This is the best left tackle that we've had since Trent Williams, right? So I'm not really too appalled to hear that, or too shocked to hear that he's dominating at least that rep and having a solid camp thus far. It's Laramie freaking Tunsil, man. What do we talk about? One of the best in the game. Continuing on, back to the defensive side of the ball. Sainristil again. Mikey, Frozone, all over the field. He just blew up a pass behind the line of scrimmage to KJ Osborne. He got a few daps from Wagner as he jogged off the field. I'm telling y'all, this dude Frozone is going to be a demon, man. He is going to be one of the best inside cornerbacks overall in the game. And I gotta get his jersey. And if you thought we were done there, you're sadly mistaken, as yet again the defense gets another turnover as Bobby Wagner this time steps in front of a pass and intercepts Jaden Daniels. And you know Bobby ain't going to let him hit the end of that one. I'm already knowing 5 probably feels some type of way about that interception. First of all, Jaden Daniels doesn't like throwing interceptions. And, of course, not to Bobby Wagner, as they have that, you know, that friendly big brother, little brother relationship. So I'm sure Bobby Wagner is letting him hear about it, or will let him hear about it when they get inside the clubhouse and the locker room today after practice. So again, defense continuing to dominate is something that I love to hear, because you're only bettering your offense. If you're dominating your defense, you're only bettering your offense. And if your offense continues to dominate your defense, I'm not gonna say that the defense ain't getting better, but that's a little worrisome, just kind of bit, because the offense, you know, is that good, but you don't like to see your defense getting killed. So to kind of see them evening out the game field and even out the battlefield, it gives me some type of confidence that we are good on both sides of the ball. Back to Skylar Nelson for a quick second. She said some of the key takeaways from today's practice is defense had a great day. Offense struggled. Cornerback Mike Sainristil emerging as a beast on the field. That's something that we already knew. Safety Tyler Owens amongst other guys as a person to keep your eye on. And wide receiver Jalen Lane is looking like the Commanders starting punter. So some things that we kind of already knew headed into training camp. But of course, it is great to, you know, hear it, be reassured by the people that are actually live on ground at Ashburn. If you thought we were done there with this defense, shout out to Lionel Willingham with this coverage here. Trey Amos joins the party as he got himself an interception. Per Lionel, he says it was miscommunication with Jaden Daniels in the end zone, and Trey Amos was able to come away with the interception. But I don't care, because any type of way you get your rookie and young fella to get some type of confidence and, you know, get his hands on an interception or two, it is great. You know what I'm saying? The miscommunications, that's the offense's fault. That's not you for making them pay. Your job is to go out there and do exactly what you did. That's make him pay. And I cannot wait to see Trey Amos in action, as I think he's going to be the best rookie cornerback in this past draft class. And he's a big reason why I genuinely think this DB room can be the best in the NFL. Talking about having the best trio in the NFL, he's a big reason as to why that is. And again, we go back to the reason why they thought about taking him at 29. If Josh Conley Jr. wasn't there, he would have been the pick, and he's showing it since the spring. This guy has been elite. So I love to hear that he's continuing that. Shout out to Trey Amos, as we got chill and Frozone, because they both used the little code emoji. So shout out to him right there. And then also, Lionel says it is cool to see things in year 2 from Dom Hampton and Jordan McGee as they're making calls at the line of scrimmage. And remember, Dom Hampton is a guy that's kind of that hybrid role. Think Landon Collins, but much better, hopefully, right? But think Landon Collins as a Buffalo nickel. Think Cam Curl, right? A guy that, you know, can play linebacker, play safety. And per Joe Witt, we're really trying to figure out where Dom Hampton can play. So to see that a lot of these guys are taking their talents that serious off the field, to where you got second-year players coming in, able to adjust things at the line of scrimmage, remember the play call, know where to put certain guys at, and know when, in fact, to change up the play and audible. Love to see it. These are second-year guys and second-year backup guys at that. Although we think Jordan McGee is going to be super good at this point, he has to stay healthy. But right now, he's technically a backup on the roster, and same with Dom Hampton. And these are backup guys that are making these changes and adjustments at the line of scrimmage, not no savvy 13-year, 14-year Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu. Like, these are young guys doing this. So this just goes to show you the attention to detail that a lot of these guys pay attention, and they actually care about getting better. So I love to see it. But there you have it. Today was defensive dominated. Defense ran today, and I love to see it, because again, like I said, it is iron sharpening iron, and you only are going to get as better as yourself, right? So love to see that. Let me know what you guys think about this video down below. As always, being boy Juangotti, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Help to the Washington Commanders on the road to 11,000 subscribers. So we greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there. Peace.
Ballin' like I'm D-Sean, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a laundry.